are unable to make it in person, but they are joining us remotely this afternoon. Board policy requires that a presiding officer of the board meeting needs to be present. So at this time, I would like to ask for nominations to appoint a presider for the meeting.
I nominate Ms. Bond.
I would like to appoint Mrs. Bond to conduct the meeting.
It has been moved. Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Polly seconds. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
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 Ayes have it. Ms. Bond, you get to preside over the meeting.
Thank you, Dr. Sachs, for calling us to order. Today is Tuesday, July 19th, 2022. This is our regular scheduled board meeting. Mr. Polly, would you lead us in the pledge, please?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Mr. Pauly. On to 2.01, special celebrations. Mr. Flowers?
Good evening, board members and board members online, and of course our audience here tonight. We're very happy to have everybody with us to celebrate some great students and staff. And of course, I'm sure a few of you got to see some of the animals that are outside beginning, and we're going to talk about those here in just a second. But first, we're going to start with the WVASA Administrator Scholarship. That's West Virginia Association of School Administrators. And Carol Ward and Courtney Coleman, teachers at Huntington East Middle School, both received a scholarship of $1,500 each. WVASA created the scholarship after recognizing a need to support aspiring administrators in the state. Only 3 scholarships are awarded each year statewide. This scholarship is to assist an individual in obtaining an administrative certificate for the purpose of seeking a school administrative position in West Virginia. And I believe Justin Boggs is going to come up and help present, and Dr. Sachs is going to say a few words on behalf of WVASA. And if you would please come forward, teachers, Carol Ward and Courtney Coleman.
Thank you, Mr. Flowers. And while Mr. Boggs presents plaques, I serve as the Vice President of the West Virginia Association of School Administrators, the state's Superintendent Association. And on behalf of WVASA, we are so proud of the work and the drive that these 2 individuals have to further their educational career and become professional administrators, and to hopefully one day lead a larger group of educators, perhaps even a school. And WVASA is just proud of the fact that they can be a part of this process for these two candidates. I also want to say that the WVASA only awards 3 of these per year. And this year, we were able to increase the scholarship from $1,000 to $1,500. And so we are very, very proud that 2 of the 3 across the state of West Virginia came from right here in Cabell County. So congratulations, ladies, and a job well done.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Dr. Sachs, I just wanted to make we did have a small error there, and I apologize for that, Mr. Flowers. Ms. Ward is actually a teacher at Huntington Middle School, and we do have Mr. Paxton came down here to celebrate that as well, principal at Huntington Middle School. We also, and Courtney is at Huntington East Middle School, and we had Mr. Sowards come down here and support her. And both of these employees have participated in the administrative apprenticeship course that Mr. Cunningham, Ms. Giles, and I have been that teach year long. So we appreciate what they've done and the accomplishment in getting those awards.
The future definitely looks bright here in Cabell County. Light and bright in Cabell County with these future administrators. So, and we'll wait to get a picture with you all here shortly.
Yes, absolutely. And thank you for the principals to coming out as well. Our next presentation is related to the animals that you saw coming into the boardroom tonight. We've got agriculture teachers and district FFA 4-H members going to provide a presentation to you guys on the annual Cabell County Fair Livestock Show and Sale as we held the week of July 27th through the 30th, of course, at Pumpkin Park in Milton. It's a lot of fun, and they're also going to be presenting their FFA state winners at the 94th State FFA Convention. So without further ado, I invite Ms. Phillips and the crew.
Now, Mr. Flowers, before Miss Gaddy, I'm sorry, what's your married name now? Miss Jeffrey comes up and speaks. Mrs. Phillips had an assignment to provide me with something. Did you bring that today? Oh, well, we're getting, okay, okay. Because there's a tradition. Usually when they present, I'm wearing a different type of attire, and so I was worried that I was not going to be able to have that. So I will stop micromanaging, and I will turn it over to Mrs. Jeffrey.
Ms. Jeffrey, thank you.
Hello, and thank you for letting us be here tonight, both to recognize the successes of our program and the fair. That's one of our biggest events throughout the year that's going to kick off next year. And all this relates to the uniqueness of agriculture education. So agriculture education is actually based on a 3-circle model that incorporates classroom and laboratory instruction, the FFA as our club or organization for our students, and then something known as an SAE or supervised agricultural experience. And our kids are going to talk about how all these things relate to each other and come together to really benefit them both in the world of agriculture and whatever career they choose in the future. But we would like to invite Mr. Sachs to reflect on his youth and join us in wearing the blue corduroy jacket this evening.
Okay. I would be proud to do so. Absolutely, come on up. I thought you were getting ready to ask me to do some sort of extemporaneous speech or something.
Now, I think that looks better myself.
The sleeves are a little short, but they'll do.
And can Kylie Lewis please join me at the podium to present on the classroom and laboratory circle of our 3-circle model?
Hello, my name is Kylie Lewis, and I am a 2022 Cabell Midland graduate. Out of my 4 years in high school, I am glad to say that I spent all 4 in numerous agricultural programs, including small animal care, large animal care, floriculture, ag mechanics, and introduction to ag. And all of these have taught me some key things that I can use throughout my life after high school. As soon as I became part of this family known as the FFA, I knew this was a group I wanted to stay in all throughout high school. For as long as I can remember, there has always been a healthy atmosphere in the classes that I have been a part of. I had always felt welcomed and loved every time I entered the room. I owe a big thanks to my ag advisors, Ms. Phillips and Mr. Clagg, for giving me a set of standards to live by and to help teach not only the subject, but morals that I can use in life. Throughout my classes, I have learned numerous things. For example, small and large animal care have given me the knowledge on how to deal with not only my farm animals, but also my pets that I will have throughout my life. From recognizing when something is wrong to learning the upkeep of my animals. Floriculture taught me how to build an effective garden and gave me the knowledge on how to produce healthy plants. I am not the only student to benefit from agricultural courses. Many students have chose to continue their education in the agricultural field. If there is one thing I can say, it is that all schools should have an ag program, not only because numerous classes within the program will give students the knowledge on how to do things on their own and build a sustainable, independent life, but also it is the fact that you will immediately have a second family. I am glad that I have had the opportunity to be a part of this program, and I will always have people from it that I can count on. Thank you for everything you have given and taught me through the years.
Fantastic.
Thank you, Kylie. Chloe Irwin is now going to join us at the podium to talk about the 2nd circle, FFA.
Greetings, Cabell County Board of Education and guests. I am Chloe Irwin, the current Cabell Midland FFA president. When many hear FFA, they first think of farming or production agriculture. But today, agriculture is so much more than farming and ranching. And FFA means more than cows, plows, and sows. FFA is the largest national organization the national agriculture-based youth organization whose purpose is to develop agricultural leaders. FFA is a co-curricular student organization available for membership to middle and high school students enrolled in agriculture courses. FFA provides students the opportunity to further develop their agriculture knowledge and skills in such areas as production, processing, marketing, judging, speaking, business, and entrepreneurship. Experiences are gained primarily through participation in local, state, and national competitions, conferences, and conventions. Students prepare for events during in-school learning experiences and through time invested outside of regular school hours. Students, including myself, could not prepare for our contest if it wasn't for our advisors like Miss Gaddy, Miss Jeffrey, Miss Phillips, and Mr. Clegg, educating, training, and spending their time with us after school and during our summer, spring, and winter breaks. This summer, Cabell County middle and high school FFA members have achieved high honors in multiple competition activities at the state level. First off, I want to tell you about the FFA opening and closing ceremonies public speaking competition. This contest gives middle school age students the leadership skills to communicate and participate efficiently as a team while growing skills in effective decision making. Our Milton Middle School FFA chapter won first in the state level and had the opportunity to open the state convention's 4th session. This team includes Kenzie Spears, Kaylee Smith, Kendall Black, Emma Jenkins, Caitlin Scarberry, and Brooklyn Rowe. 4 of our Milton Middle FFA students also earned the opportunity to compete at the state FFA Quiz Bowl competition. The Quiz Bowl competition's purpose is to better acquaint middle schoolers on key information on the FFA organization. This contest is another one that requires students to be leaders and for them to think on their feet. The Milton Middle FFA team placed 2nd in the state level competition. Team members were Kaylee Smith, Kenzie Spears, Brooklyn Rowe, and Allie Walker. In the fall, 3 Milton Middle School students placed 1st, 2nd, and 3rd in the Regional Compact Garden Tractor Driving Contest event. This summer, those students have prepared for the state contest, which took place on July 7th during the state FFA convention. Our Milton Middle Schoolers who won on the regional level also made a clean sweep on the state level. McKinley Pritchard placed 3rd, Mason Jenkins placed 2nd, and Kenzie Spears won 1st place. Not only did the middle school have success, but Cabell Midland FFA has experienced success as well. First off, I was selected out of 17 candidates across the state to serve on the nomination committee. The nomination committee is selected to serve the purpose of interviewing candidates who wish to be a state FFA officer. During my time serving on this committee, I got to know FFA members from all over the state of West Virginia who all had a different perspective on agriculture. Being on the nomination committee gives 6 FFA members from different areas of our state the opportunity to serve as the leaders who select the next state officer team. I can personally say that from this experience, I was given many different leadership skills, a better look at diversity and inclusion in our state, and can say that I have a broader spectrum on advocacy for agriculture. Our chapter enters a scrapbook annually into the state scrapbook competition. This contest gives chapters the opportunity to document and display all of the many activities and events they have been involved in throughout the year. We organized and assembled our chapter scrapbook during bi-weekly work meetings throughout the month of June, and our scrapbook won 1st place in the state this year and last year as well. During spring break 2022, Jillian Sowards competed in the regional FFA Creed speaking contest, and she had placed 1st. At state FFA convention this July, Jillian advanced through the preliminary rounds of the Creed speaking contest and continued on to place 3rd overall in the state. Degrees in FFA are very prestigious and should be seen as an honor for members to obtain them. 3 of our FFA members obtained their state degrees. Their state FFA degree. Some of the things that FFA members should do to obtain this degree includes, while in school, have completed the equivalent of at least 2 years of school instruction in agricultural education at or above the 9th grade level, which includes a supervised agricultural experience program, have earned and productively invested at least $1,000 or worked at least 300 hours in excess of scheduled class time, or a combination thereof in a supervised agricultural experience program. Or they have participated in at least 25 hours of community service within at least 2 different community service activities. These hours are in addition to and cannot be duplicated as paid or unpaid SAE hours. The Cabell Midland FFA members who obtained this highest honor in the state of West Virginia this year are Emma Gu, Kylie Lewis, and myself, Chloe Irwin. The next and highest degree an FFA member can earn is the American FFA degree. It is awarded to qualified applicants by the National FFA Organization during the organization's national convention each October. Less than 1% of all FFA members nationwide will ever receive the American degree. This year, 2 Cabell Midland FFA members have earned this prestigious honor. To be eligible to receive the American FFA degree, members must meet the following qualifications: have satisfactorily completed the equivalent of at least 3 years of symptomatic secondary school instruction in an agricultural education program, or have completed at least the equivalent of 360 hours of systematic secondary school instruction in agriculture education and 1 full year of enrollment in a post-secondary agricultural program, or have completed the program of agricultural education offered in the secondary school last attended. A student after entering agricultural education must have learned at least $10,000 and productively invested $7,500, earned and productively invested $2,000 and worked 2,250 hours in excess of scheduled class time, and a combination of hours time a factor of 3.56 plus actual dollars earned and productively invested must be equal to or greater than the numbers 10,000. Have participated in at least 50 hours of community service within at least 3 different community service activities. These hours are in addition to and cannot be duplicated as paid or unpaid supervised agricultural experience hours. Congratulations to Marley Norris and Brittany Sowards for achieving the highest honor the National FFA organization can bestow upon the members. Thank you.
And so, Jed, one of the things is we have coins of excellence for each of the students that she listed. And so perhaps what we could do is we could have the scholarship winners come first.
Okay.
And then you could call by name the students to come up for the pictures. And then after that, I think then we could do a group picture with outside.
Okay, with all the FFA.
Yeah.
So we'll do the award winners.
However you want to do it, I just wanted to make sure we recognize the FFA award winners because she listed them.
Gotcha.
one- did
She
they
did
have
a
one
great
for
job.
each
Great job, Chloe, by the way.
Oh, they have one more.
Oh, they have one more?
Yep.
One more speaker?
Go
Come
for it.
on.
Absolutely.
Come on down. Thank you very much.
Hello, my name is Kaylee Smith, and I was the vice president this year at Milton Middle, and I'll be talking about the third circle of agriculture education. The third circle of agriculture education is SAE, or Supervised Agricultural Experiences. SAEs allow students to pick real-life projects and experiences that relate to agriculture. These projects all occur outside of school time and are based on our individual interests. They are called supervised agricultural experiences because our agriculture teachers and other adults and experts are there to provide help and guidance as we complete the projects. One of the most popular SAE projects for middle and high school students is to raise a market animal for the Cabell County Fair. During our market animal SAE projects, we learn to select the best animal, care for, and train the animal for shows. We also have to keep a record of the time, activities, and money spent while raising our animals. Our agriculture teachers help supervise our projects while completing home or farm visits, holding AET workshops to help with our record books, assist us with getting our animals ready for the shows, and participate in the livestock shows and sale at the fair. To give you a little taste of what to expect at the Cabell County Fair next week, we have invited a few of our members to bring their projects to you. Please join us outside to meet the animals and students who have raised them. Allie Clag with her feeder calf, Caitlin Scarberry with a market goat, Maddie Smith with a lamb, and myself with a market hog. Thank you.
Very good.
Mr. Flowers, I also noticed on the agenda, and I don't want to leave Mr. Clag out, that he received the honorary state FFA degree. That is fantastic. Congratulations, Mr. Clag. We appreciate you. Absolutely a phenomenal group. The speakers that were up here, well-spoken, excellent diction. I mean, my lands, I am blown away at how well. What a fantastic group. I really do want to see those animals. Well, for one, just the work to get them down here, we appreciate that so much. And I know you're getting ready for the fair next week. Good luck to all of you. I wish you could all be grand champion, you know, but we'll see. Thank you all so much. Wow.
Let's go ahead and do that. I think they might be getting a little antsy, so
Okay.
they're getting hot. And so we'll go ahead and do outside. And
Go ahead and do the
then we'll-
photo outside.
And then we'll come in and we'll recognize the others in front of the board.
Okay.
Yep.
Yay.
Miss Neely and Miss Smalley, just hang tight for us.
Don't want to mess up anybody's name.
Okay, Mrs. Ward and Ms. Coleman, and your principals, you guys all please come forward and we'll get ready for the board picture. I'll just have you come up in front of the railing here.
Mr. Barnett, can you try to get Mr. Caldwell and Miss Bond?
That was fun.
President Smalley and Vice President Neely, are you still with us?
And we're here.
Yes, ma'am.
Wonderful. We've just come back
Can you hear
inside.
me?
Yes, I can.
Yes, we can hear you. I can hear you fine.
Wonderful.
Okay, thank you.
We're going to move on to 2.03, update on instruction and leadership by Ms. Swats.
You will need your red folder, and Ms. Neely and Ms. Smalley, I emailed this to you. This is just kind of a brief update on the professional development that we have been going on during the summer, and also on our teachers' return professional development on August 11th. So the first page is just an overview of each programmatic level of what's gone on through the summer. Of course, we started the summer with our school conference that we've already presented on, but we've also had a lot of summer school prep for our summer school programs. We've had several schools that went to the Model School Conference. We've had Apple training. This is science textbook adoption year. So at all programmatic levels, we've been offering different times of additional support that they could get with their textbooks. We've had CPR, CPI training, as well as we do curriculum mapping on our different content areas every year to determine what's working, what's not working, or if we need to make any type of shift within that. Then the next page, you have each programmatics level training that will go on August 11th. That is the county-based PD. So teachers come back August 10th. That is the prep day. That's the day for teachers to work in their classroom. August 11th is county-based professional development. And you have each programmatic level schedule of trainings, and this will be going out to teachers here within the next week for them to either sign up, or at least we're finalizing room locations on where all this will take place. August 12th is a staff development day that we give for our Safe School videos due to legislative policy that we're required by law. Then we go to Monday, the 15th, and that is school-based professional development, as well as the 16th is school-based, and that's where the principals and faculty senate is actually on the 16th. So the schools will have 2 days other than the prep day for professional development. So you can see we have each content area of training that is being given to all of our teachers within each area. So, any question?
I have one, Ms.
Yes.
Watts. I realize that depending on what the teacher signs up for, is that certain time slots? And if they finish that, can they go back to their classroom? Because it seems like one day is not a lot to get your classroom ready, you know?
Well, they have teacher prep, and then they'll be in their schools 2 other days. They'll be in their schools actually on 3 days. On the video days, they're in their schools watching their videos. A lot of teachers watch their videos early, so they can either work in their classroom or move on. But then they'll be in their classrooms. And school base is they may do their PLCs, they may have a faculty meeting, but then the principal determines with the leadership team at each school what the schedule is for those 2 days.
Okay, so there is some flexibility
Yes.
for them to get in the room and be able.
So on the actual PD day, on the 11th, they will have assignments on what they teach, on where they go. And in some cases, if they do finish early, absolutely, they are given the option to go back. At this time, I think we have full-day sessions, but we're still working with presenters and locations and time frames.
Okay. Any other questions for Ms. Watts? Ms. Smalley or Ms. Neely? Okay. Hearing none, thank you, Mrs. Watts.
And of course, if any other questions come up, just let me know and we'll get you the answers. But we hope to have our finalized schedule within the week, next week, to send out to our principals.
Okay.
right,
Thank you
thank
very
you.
much. Okay, let's go on to 2.04, updates on operation and support. Mr. Hardesty?
Good evening, board members, Dr. Sachs, council. The reason I am here today is just to provide you an update, and it's going to be a little bit different. I do want to at the end talk about some of the items that are on the agenda, but I do want to cover a few things that are going on within our departments, just to keep you all abreast of what's happening. So the work continues on the outdoor classrooms, and that includes the furniture as well as the concrete. Concrete work is finishing up. We have had a number of rainstorms, as you all have experienced as well. So we're hopeful that that will be completed in the very near future. We will have some change orders for consideration coming up. We would like to change our design a little bit and put some poured rubber in some of them to prevent some tripping hazards, and to, now that we've got the concrete in the ground, we see that maybe we can make a little bit nicer. We did have a change order for Culloden after we did the first concrete there. I think we need some for some of the others as well, but I'll be bringing those in the future once we get an idea of exactly what we need there. We're working on a drain at Salt Rock, which is out by the main road that goes in front of Salt Rock in the corner of the parking lot. It's holding water, and on heavy rains, it backs up into the playground around the tree, and actually even up around the equipment there. So we want to get that taken care of. We're working on completing the greenhouse at Cabell Midland. Back at the beginning of summer, we started working on that. We had to disassemble one of the greenhouses and take the end off. We poured a concrete pad in there to house a new piece of equipment that they received to fill trays with dirt. We had to move water line and electric lines to accommodate that. We now have to put the greenhouse back together. And we're also installing a dog washing station within the classroom there. The asphalt and ceiling are nearing completion. Drive by any of our schools that have had that work. It looks fantastic. They're doing a great job. The tiling and carpeting that the board approved previously at the beginning of summer, that has been completed in those schools now. We're working with a tree trimming company. The plan was to try to get our third quote this morning by visiting the fence line. The weather yesterday and it just wasn't conducive to that. We're going to try again tomorrow morning. Currently, we're involved in a job fair. Although Mr. Tackett is here, he came back for the meeting. Ms. Smith is there. The job fair is 1 to 7 today at Huntington High School, so we're working through that. They have also planned a staff development session for substitutes, and that is service substitutes and professional substitutes. And one of the things that we have realized, a place that we need to provide that training, are those required trainings each year that the state has designated required trainings. And so we're going to have a day for our substitutes to be able to come to those trainings and offer those in person and pay them their daily rate for coming. We're going to have them sign up. Currently, we have one day scheduled for August 3rd and then one for August 4th. I certainly appreciate all of those within our district that have agreed to be presenters at those trainings. That's giving 2 days out of their busy schedules as well. But we want to have our substitutes ready to go when school begins. The summer food program, if you've noticed some of the updates, that has changed a little bit. They received a waiver to allow distribution of a 5-day meal box. At the end of it, it was scheduled to end operations on Friday, August the 5th. And what we're going to be able to do is actually provide a 5-day meal box for students on that last day to get them through the 10th. We're having our kitchen hoods and ranges cleaned this week. We've provided our planned staff development for our cooks as well. That's going to be on August the 11th for Cabell Midland and the feeder schools, and then on the 12th for Huntington High School and the feeder schools there. And the entire group will meet on August the 15th. We're finalizing the contract with ESG, and we have determined that scope of works there. So again, I think in my update yesterday, I may have let you know that we plan to bring that to a work session in August, and so those details will be pretty clear there. We have a construction meeting in the morning for Cabell Midland. It's kind of exciting. They're getting ready to get started, so we're going to set the scope of work there and see what phase they're going to start with. I think I know, but until we meet, we'll find out for sure. But we have a couple phases there. One will be the athletic entrance and the restrooms, and the other will be on the other side at the main office and the restrooms by the cafeteria. We're working on changing lights at our football fields that need to have done, and we have installed an HVAC at the Milton Pre-K gym. So that's since we last met, some of the things that we've completed and still working on. As far as the agenda, we have a new chiller that bid. It's on the agenda, that new chiller for Village of Barbersville Elementary. The low bid from that was Casto Technical Services, and coincidentally, they are the same company that we are renting the chiller that's currently there. They're the ones who brought that in and installed it for us. So we have in your green folder a lot of policies, and I wanted to make sure you knew most of those are very minor changes. I think all of them but one are changes for I'm losing my thought here, isn't that terrible? The county compliance officer. So Mr. Tackett is going to be that new county compliance officer instead of myself. We have to go through training for that. I know it's a 6-week process to get board policy changed, but I will be taken off. Mr. Tackett will be added to that as the compliance officer along with Ms. Hornbuckle for our compliance officers. And that's the only change in the policy. The policies are all the same except for that. And then the last one is our policy on uniforms for transportation, cooks, and custodians. And I want to take just a few minutes and thank some people. I've had several custodians to reach out to me directly. Visited a couple at the schools and had conversations with them. I appreciate those that have either called or emailed me or talked to Ms. Glover. I appreciate her comments, and we've been in communication there. There have been some changes since the first one I gave you, and those are reflected on the online now, but I wanted to kind of point those out. The first one talks about required uniforms, and it has to be approved pants and shirts and that type thing. Mr. Tackett has an example, he's wearing one today, of what that might look like. And so it's not meant to be cumbersome, and I appreciate there are several custodians here today. I appreciate them coming. What I want everyone to know is the whole purpose behind the policy is not to be cumbersome or an I got you thing. And so what Mr. Tackett is going to do is reach out to a handful of head custodians and have them assist in the selection of the uniforms, so the choices that they have to order. One of the concerns I heard was the button-up shirts. They want an option for a pullover polo.
Yeah.
So we'll make sure we provide that as well as one of the options, so they can have either or they can have both if they want, a couple their button-ups and a couple pullover polos. Whatever they are comfortable with, or whatever works best for them. The identification patch and wearing your badge in approved locations. I think the language the first time talked about how it had to be worn either on the lapel or around a chain, around your neck, or a lanyard. Some of the custodians had concerns about that getting caught on equipment.
Yeah.
Several of them wear them on their belt on something that is elastic, where it's easily visible. That's fine with us. So the language reflects now they just need to have their ID on, but the patch or logo will be on the shirt like Mr. Tackett has there. And then the other thing I would like to change, and I know this is a little bit of a change here on the third reading to remove something, but if you look at that uniform policy on letter G.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so the first sentence, it's really, and in my head, when I typed it, it was not contradictory. When I talked about good repair, I thought we don't want something with holes in it, or as one of the gentlemen was talking to me about how sometimes they start raveling, and we need to help them if that happens. But the concern there was about those type things. And the second sentence talks about they're expected to be fresh and clean at the beginning of each workday. I would like to remove the first sentence from the policy because it says must be clean and in good repair at all times. Our custodians are very hardworking employees. The nature of what they do for our students and for our schools will not lend them to be able to keep clean clothes all day long on some days. It's just not possible. And the last thing that we want to do is put a policy before the board that causes them to worry about doing their job and maybe getting dirty, or they go out and trim grass when it's 95 out because it still grows. They just can't stay clean all the time. I'd like to take the first sentence out for the policy as presented to you for approval tonight.
I'm very glad to hear that, because I know what I look like when I finish mowing my grass, and I'm not clean
Right.
by any means. And in the lines of the duty of that job, we do want to look professional, but I want employees to be cool. I want them to have that option. If I tell you, depending on what you're doing, you can lose buttons depending on what
Absolutely,
your job is.
Yes.
A lanyard, because my background is from the hospital, that is a no-no for us because it gets caught, it goes through patients' belongings, it's not safe. So where they're comfortable
Right.
wearing it, as long as it's displayed and they've got the patch, I feel much better about this because
Right.
I actually had a concern with that line.
Well, the shirt and the patch will identify them as a Cabell County employee. And the other thing I wanted to point out is the last portion talks about uniforms do not have to be worn during summer work. And I think there was a concern here because it also talks about unless there is summer school going on in your building. As you all know, we have summer school throughout the county right now.
Yeah.
But we hire custodians to take care of the summer school. And so when we have a summer cleaning crew there, they can wear shorts and a t-shirt to be working and waxing floors and those type things because the uniforms would not lend themselves to do that type of work. The custodian hired to take care of summer school would need to be in uniform, but the summer crew would not.
Okay.
I hope that helps clarify that. Again, I would like to thank the custodians that are here. If they have questions going forward, I would also like to say that no one really came out and said, I don't want a policy. Most of them were just concerned that in the course of their daily duties, there's something in a policy they would violate because of how the day went.
Yeah.
And that is not at all what the policy is intended for.
Yeah. I don't want it to be restrictive, that it seems like my lands, no matter what I do, I'm going to be in violation of this. I do have a question about that. Who makes that call?
It would be their immediate supervisor. So a head
Okay.
custodian or an afternoon or evening custodian in the school. That would, if it's an evening custodian, that would be the principal and possibly the custodian. The head custodian would talk to them, but it would be the principal of the building. That's the immediate supervisor.
Okay, can I ask something else? I think you addressed this in the beginning, but I want to make sure that I understood correctly. In this policy, it states that the superintendent will facilitate a selection of uniform committee whose purpose is to define the approved uniform. On that committee, we will have custodians, correct? Like,
That will, the committee honestly will consist of Mr. Tackett, head custodians, and most likely Ms. Glover, if she would agree to serve on that as a representative service personnel. Because what we would like to make sure that they know is that the purpose of the uniform policy really is going to serve two purposes. It's going to let our public that are in our buildings and our students know exactly who they need to go to if they need something. And on the second portion of that, as we give allowances, and we have been giving allowances to clothing in the past, but we have not been taxing that allowance that we give. And so we need to make sure that we abide by any tax code. This alleviates any kind of taxes on that because it's clear it's Cabell County work clothes. It's not something they could stop somewhere else and work in. So it takes care of both of those issues. And the whole policy is not meant to be constrictive or worrisome for our employees. Benefit them. That's what the goal is.
Yeah, Ms. Bond, I'd also
Yeah.
like to add that when these policies were being crafted, one of the things that we had looked at was the transportation uniform policy, because it's actually been in existence for many years here in Cabell County. The uniform policy for cooks and custodians was really non-existent. But what we did was Mr. Tackett had convened a group of individuals, which also included our coordinators of service personnel. So our coordinator of custodians, our coordinator of cooks, and then of course our transportation supervisors. They were part of this group, and of course those are individuals that recently came out of those positions. So our coordinator of custodians was just a custodian. He was a head custodian for many years, actually at Barbersville Middle School, and then our coordinator of cooks, Mary Cook, was a head cook for many years in the county before they took on these service personnel leadership roles. And so they too also reached out to individuals as to get some options of what some of the preferences were, so we could narrow down the overarching expectations for the uniform policy itself. But the options that we will actually make available, that's where Mr. Hardesty was saying that Mr. Tackett would get a group of custodians and cooks together to make sure that the options they have to meet the policy that you all may approve this evening, that those are flexible options for them, because certain pairs of pants may fit differently for, as long as they're, I think it's blue, I'm not sure, is it blue?
Well, again, that's yet to be determined.
Blue,
but
brown, whatever it may
blue,
be.
black, or probably dark gray, any of those would work with a gray shirt.
There may be other brands that fit someone better than another brand, and so we want to make sure that we have those options. We don't want to pigeonhole people. But we also want to make sure that the money that we're spending on the uniforms gets spent on uniforms, and that again, it has the logos and those sort of things, so that if there's an issue in a school, and this is also a school safety issue, is that people identify those individuals in the building as an employee of Cabell County Schools also. So they have their badge, and then of course they have an official uniform that tells them exactly what that role is in the school. So
I think it's important to note also that as we go through this process, if it's approved this evening, we won't just go to Working Man's Store and buy uniforms. That's not how it works, because the way we spend funds, we'll have to work up a request for proposal for that and take bids for those. Because when you look at all of the uniforms that we would buy, we would be beyond that threshold. I think it's also important that we've had transportation policy in for years. And we kind of drafted it from that, to be honest with you. But the difference is, our cooks were not really concerned about theirs because they wear scrubs now. But our custodians were concerned because not that a bus driver is an easy job, it's not, and I don't know that I could do it. But a custodian's job is a lot more labor
It's a
intensive.
different job.
And yes, and so looking at what they do, the nature of what they do for our system, it can't stay pressed and cleaned all day
No.
long. It just won't. And so I wanted to make sure that things in the policy that concern them were just not there, because that wasn't the purpose of it.
Okay. It's very important to me, and I mean this with all respect and kindness, that committee not be all administration. We need the men and women that are custodians in our building giving that input, because they're doing the job. We need to go right there and see.
Completely agree.
And to make that to where it works for everyone. Okay, thank you very much.
And the reason I asked Ms. Glover if she would be, and I know I did that here and probably in front of everyone, but she represents a lot of our service employees, and so those that couldn't be on the committee can still reach out to her. So that was a thought there.
No, I'm glad. Thank
Are there
you.
any questions about anything from the department?
Mrs. Neely, Mrs. Smalley, any questions at all for Mr. Hardesty?
No.
Not at this point. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hardesty, very much. Okay, moving on, we're at 2.05, communications from the superintendent.
Thank you, Madam Chair, board members, President Smalley and Vice President Neely. First and foremost, it has been a very busy several weeks. One of the things that we want to celebrate is we recently received our advanced placement scores for our programs at our high schools, and I am so excited to be able to report the awesome work of our students and especially our instructors of advanced placement courses. One of the things that we want to recognize, though, are many of our AP teachers, in fact, a strong majority of our AP teachers, both at Cabell Midland and Huntington High, not only exceeded the state AP pass rate, but exceeded the national pass rate. And of course, there's an importance in passing the AP exam, and that is that actually qualifies the student for college credit. And so just hats off to, at Cabell Midland, Mr. Riazzi, who teaches AP statistics and had a his pass rate was 79.2 compared to a national average of actually a world average of 60.4. His AP computer science principles students, a 75% pass rate over a global pass rate of 63.5. Mr. Justin Ripley, AP human geography, his pass rate for his students 60% with a global pass rate of 53.2. AP U.S. Government, also taught by Mr. Ripley, had a pass rate of 39.1 with a West Virginia pass rate of 37.4. Mr. Brian McNeil, AP Biology, had a Cabell Midland pass rate of 66.7 with really close to the global pass rate of 67.9, but far exceeding the state average of 48%. Ms. Trina Wise, AP Calculus, with a pass rate of 65% and a global pass rate of just 55.6. Michelle Brooks, AP English Language Arts, a pass rate of 57.8 with a global pass rate of 55%. Ms. Tarango, AP English Literature, 88.5% pass rate, and again, a global pass rate of just 77.9%. Mr. Billy Williams, a pass rate of 78.3, and again, surpassing that global pass rate of 58%. Mr. Scott White, a pass rate for AP Psychology of 75%, and a global pass rate of just 58%. And Mr. Don Scalise, his AP U.S. Government pass rate of 39%, with a West Virginia pass rate of just 37%. So we're extremely proud of our Cabell Midland teachers. But we're not done yet, because there is excellence in both East and West Cabell County. Huntington High School, Highlanders on the Hill continued to excel. We want to congratulate Miss Heather Reed with an AP English Literature pass rate of 90% and a global pass rate of 77.9. Mr. McCowan, Huntington High School pass rate for AP Biology 76% compared to the national pass rate of, the worldwide pass rate of 67.9. AP Human Geography taught by Ms. Coffer with a pass rate of 66.7% and a global pass rate of 53%. Miss Marisa Dillon had a Huntington High School pass rate for AP English Language Arts for 73% and a global pass rate of just 55%. Mr. Kennedy, AP Environmental Science with a high school pass rate, get this, 100% of his students, and again, that global pass rate is just 54.1%. Mr. Freeman, his AP Psychology class had a global pass rate of 45.8 with a West Virginia pass rate of just 45.3. Miss Johnson, teaching AP United States History, had a pass rate of 43.2 with a West Virginia pass rate of just 32.7. And Miss McElroy with an AP English Literature pass rate of 90% and a global pass rate of 77.9. So again, we want to congratulate all of our AP teachers across Cabell County for just a tremendous amount of hard work, and you know, the proof is in the pudding, so to speak. The proof is in these AP scores from their classes. So congratulations to these teachers as well as the students who passed their AP exams. As I mentioned before, things have been bustling across the county with summer learning, and our summer learning programs have really been a tremendous success. Get it? Okay. We want to thank our parents for sharing their children with us over the summer, because we have had a really phenomenal experience, and the kids have had a wonderful time. I tell you, the CTE summer camp was a huge success. Yeah. Those are some of the pictures you actually see here that represent what was going on. And just look at some of these social media comments that we're receiving from parents. Wonderful, thanks for hosting this camp. Our son loves it. What a great experience for our kids. Thank you, CTE, for opening your doors to our kids this summer. What an incredible experience for them. You know, it's very rare that a 5th or 6th grade student can actually compete or participate in these types of things. And they were welding, they were doing hair, they were doing graphic design, they were doing crime scene investigation, they were they were coding their own DNA. Very, very cool stuff. And it was so refreshing to go and see the students interacting and see their excitement. So want to congratulate them and Mr. Barnett and his staff for a job well done again. Of course, we have many activities as we start winding down our summer events. We today worked in conjunction with the Huntington Regional Chamber of Commerce for our 2nd annual job fair, where we had over 50 businesses converge on Huntington High to recruit and hire employees. And so we are a proud partner with the Huntington Regional Chamber in being able to provide that as a service to our local business community. The Cabell County Fair, as we talked about just a little bit ago, is July 27th through the 30th. Want to invite our board members to attend. You have the schedule of events. I definitely encourage you, if you were to say, okay, where do I even begin in being able to go? I would really encourage you going to the Showmanship classes. The Showmanship is all on one day, so you can get a sort of packed full, but that judges the exhibitor's ability to show their animal. And then the other ones, the market classes, are judged on the quality of the animal. A lot of the hype is usually around the quality of the animal, because what that does is that places them in their sale order. And of course, grand and reserves always bring lots and lots of money. And if you're interested in what kind of money those actually bring, I encourage you to go to the actual auction on Friday and see that. Cabell County is again excited as part of the buyback program, and that is where a business purchases, let's say, a steer. They may not want to take that steer home, but they're purchasing it as a write-off, so they donate it back to a scholarship fund. And in the buyback sale, those animals are sold at market price. Yeah. Well, Cabell County Schools will purchase every hog and every beef cow that we will end up taking and putting them through our food service program for our students. And so it's been a really good program. We've been doing it for 4 years now. Our 6th grade and 9th grade Climb Institute, that's where our 6th grade and 9th grader, incoming 6th graders and 9th graders get introduced to middle school and high school. They get to walk the hallways without all the other students. They get to go through their class schedules, meet their teachers, really learn what it's like to be a little fish in a big pond. And so we're excited for that. And so if you know any 6th grader or 9th grader out there that is not aware of it, please make sure that they know and they can get registered for that Climb Institute. This is our, I think, 2nd year implementing this program, so we're really excited. And then our open house schedules. High school open houses will be August 11th from 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. And that depends upon the respective schools, so just check out the school's Facebook pages for the exact times. Middle schools will be August 15th from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. And elementary schools will be August 16th from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Unfortunately, that is during our board meeting, but as the way the schedules work, we just can't fit everything in for the beginning of the year. So we will have those open houses at that time. And for updated information, please check out your schools or the district Facebook and social media pages. Our grab-and-go meals are back in Cabell County, and I know that when earlier in the year or earlier in the summer, when we had to communicate that we no longer could do like meal packs, or that people couldn't come to a meal site and pick up multiple meals for kids back home, that was a frustration. That was because of the federal government, though. That was a federal government guideline that had expired, and so we were operating under that assumption. And then literally on June 30th, the federal government decided that they would renew it. And so Mr. Austin and his food service staff were sort of sent scrambling, but man, they responded in excellent fashion. And so we're very proud of the fact that our grab-and-go meals are back and are available at our summer feeding sites. Summer feeding sites are subject to change, and we do ask people to just check back on our website to make sure that they have the most current site information available. Board members, that concludes my superintendent's update, and I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Okay. Any questions
No
at all?
questions from me.
None at all? I'm free on
Okay.
that. Thank you, Dr. Sachs.
Mr. Hardesty.
Let's move on to 2.06,
No.
delegations to be heard. Do we have any
Oh, it's here.
delegations?
Sorry, I saw the clipboard there, sorry. Yes, we do have some delegations. Do you want to read that
I
section?
can,
Sorry.
yes. Public comment is not an open forum to attack individual school system employees or board members. Each speaker is allowed 3 minutes to address the board. This is a business meeting of the school board, and the board appreciates public input and will listen attentively. Consider each comment, but will not respond, debate, or answer any questions. When you are called forward, please state your name, address, and if you have a group affiliation, please make us aware of that so that we can record it for the time. Thank you much.
Thank you, Madam Chair. First, we have Curtis Collins with Cabell Midland Baseball.
Okay. Welcome, Mr. Collins.
Thank you. Appreciate the time and opportunity. Yeah, I'm Curtis Collins, Cabell Midland Baseball, representing an initiative that we would like to see go forward. Not sure how the board typically gets these processes started, so I guess that's why we're here, is to just kind of bring that up. I do have some handouts I'd like to share with the board, but first I just would like to cover a couple talking points. The reason for us gathering here tonight, and we do have our baseball coaches, the paid coaching staff, along with some of our players, parents, and volunteers. With our coaches, we have about 75 years plus experience, specifically in this area. We have reached out to our local communities as Cabell Midland. We've reached out to both Milton City Council as well as Barbersville. Been in contact with both mayors, in which we've sought community support for this initiative. And what we'd like to do, I didn't realize I was going to have 3 minutes, so I'm going to kind of breeze through as quick as I can and give you the necessary information. What we're doing is we're looking to put before the board a project of providing a turf baseball field for the baseball program. We do understand that, you know, it's already something that the football program has, both baseball and football at Huntington High. Again, not sure what this process looks like. We are willing to do our part. We've already started the fundraising. We've already gotten some estimates on what the total cost would be. I do have a written estimate that includes just the infield of the baseball field. We're actually want to present to you doing the entire field, which we're looking at probably in the neighborhood of $750,000 to do the entire project. To do just the infield is going to be about $200,000, maybe a little more. The quote that I have is the lowest bid that we've received, and it looks like it's about a 3-week process from the time they start. Our timeline is we'd love to see it happen for the spring of 2023. A couple of the talking points that I wanted to bring out was some of the disadvantages that we have without the turf playing surface. Lost practices, lost games. If we are in a season, just average year, we lose probably 6-7 games a year. On average, we schedule 25 to 28 games. So if you do the math over a student athlete's 4-year baseball career, they stand to potentially lose an entire season just due to the playing surfaces and inclement weather. And that's not even to mention the amount of time that's lost for practice and prep, especially for a spring sport where the weather is inclement, right up until April and into May and throughout the season. Other schools I mentioned that already have the turf, Huntington, Hurricane on the other side of us, they're not losing games for these same reasons. We are a competitive team, and we're not looking necessarily for an edge, but what we are looking for is just a level playing surface to kind of, even the odds, if you will. The current field conditions, if we go out, and I do have some pictures here, if we go out and have to prep field after a rainy day, we're looking at spending hundreds of dollars in materials, dirt, field dry, and that doesn't even consider the labor that goes into that from our volunteers. Of course, with turf, we eliminate a lot of those costs. It's more upfront, of course, but then it's an investment that we're making for years to come, plus the kids get all that extra time on the field. I will tell you, as far as what we have pledged, Barbersville has pledged to come in and do the groundwork, a lot of the excavating work for the project, which we estimate to be in the neighborhood of $15,000 to $20,000. Milton has.
You can have another minute, Mr.
Okay.
Collins.
Yeah. So Milton is also looking to get involved in some way. We've met with their city council, waiting to hear back on what they're doing. We've also met with Rotary Club of Milton. Got about $25,000 in pledges to go towards the project now. So we're looking to do our part. Again, there's a lot more to share. I do have just a letter that we've prepared for sponsorships, along with what the sponsors will receive in return as far as getting their advertisement. I have included the infill cost for the field, the lowest estimate, and then I also have some pictures I'd like to share with the board as far as just what the playing surfaces look like on a rainy day, and then me walking right from that very spot over to our football field, which is turf, and showing that those in those same conditions that the field would be completely playable if it were turf. I don't know exactly. We probably did lose 5 or 6 games just this year alone. Our boys did win the section. We did win MSAC conference, and we're looking for an investment. And if I could, I'd like to share just what we have here with you guys.
Yeah, if you provide that to Mr. Hardesty, he'll make sure the board members get it.
Okay.
And I'm sure Mr. Hardesty will be in contact with you shortly.
Very good. Yeah,
Thank
our
you.
contact information is on the pledge sheets there, so we can be reached there.
Thank you, Mr. Collins. Anyone else?
Mrs. Glover, regarding uniforms.
Thank you, board members. My name is Tammy Glover. I live in Barbersville, West Virginia. I am local president of WVSSPA, the West Virginia School Service Personnel Association. I did come to talk about uniforms. However, Mr. Hardesty cleared quite a few things up that we had concerns about. And I wanted to thank you, Dr. Sachs. Your leadership and the leadership that you have in place here is very flexible, and they're listening to what the employees are saying. And I want to thank you so much. This policy looks much better than it did at the first reading, and making it clear that it is not a policy that's meant to only enhance discipline, but to be a benefit to that employee and providing them with uniforms. In saying that, I know that the board provides vouchers for these employees, and just as our great late friend Skip Parsons had advocated for an increase for the maintenance crew for these vouchers. I'm asking for that same increase for our custodians and our cooks. Not only inflation or whatever, but we do want them to look their best and not have to go in there and bargain basement all the time and get what they need and allow them to have more funds. And that's really all I wanted to say about it. Again, I thank you so much for your leadership and the flexibility that these administrators have shown to their employees, and we appreciate their listening. On another note, I sped through here from a training that we're doing. I'm also the secretary for WVEIS, and I help run that program, and I'm an administrator of the program. We have been gifted with a new program called Vivas 2.0, and I'm staying very positive because it's very different, but we're having to train every user that touches that system because it is so very different. And I want you to know that we just finished a 2-day training, and I was nervous about it. It just came live yesterday at 8:14, and your secretaries and counselors there at this meeting have grabbed it. They are learning it. They are trying very hard to let go of the old ways that we were using and embrace the new, and I'm just so proud of them. And I want you to know you have got great people working out there.
Hear, hear.
Thank you.
Tracy Brumfield regarding Cabell Midland baseball.
Hello, Mr. Brumfield.
Hello, how are you?
Doing
Thank you
well.
very much for letting me have your time. It won't take 3 minutes. The biggest thing we want to know, oh, it's not on?
You just gotta get closer. Or if you just pull
Okay,
up
that's good
pull
right
it up
there.
a little bit. There you go.
Testing, testing.
There you go.
All right. The school that was Cabell Midland was built on is swampland.
Yeah.
So most of our baseball field is with clay. When they built the field, it was built with clay. And you know, water does not go through clay. Putnam County, everybody in Putnam County has a turf field. Everybody in Kanawha County is getting turf fields. We were the 5th ranked team this year in the state. We missed the Final Four by 1 game. The top 4 teams in the state, 3 of them have turf fields. GW being one of them, Hurricane being the other one who was a state champion. Out of those 4 teams, your top 4 teams do go, and they're in their top 4. We were 5th. And we go through Hurricane every year, who has turf. I think our kids are a big disadvantage with this. When you see the pictures, you'll see what we do man hours over and over. We don't go out and just flip a light on and play ball. We are out there all year long, year-round, working on our ball field, mowing grass, water's in there, grass on the infield dirt. We're skipping it off with little scoopers and everything else. I've been here 19 years with Cabell Midland High School baseball. All right, and each year we try to improve our field as much as possible. Each year we want to improve and do one thing that we can do to make it where the kids come out going, yeah, I want to play ball here. I want to play ball here. But right now, with the conditions that we go through, with the rain, it may rain 2 days and be sunny for 2 days. We still can't play on our field. And so we're year-round working the field. We'll have to cut JV games. We probably cut 10 to 15 JV games a year because the varsity game comes before that. So that puts a hurt on the JV for your program. And also, we've been to the Rotary Club at Milton. Spoke with them. The same thing I'm telling you is what I told them. In the state tournament this year, Milton won the district. Barbersville was runner-up. Those are the 2 teams that are representing this county. These 2 teams come in to form Cabell Midland. I think it's an unfair advantage for the kids. I've been there 19 years. I would love to have a turf field, but it's not about me or the coaches. It's about the kids who are coming up, who are playing there right now, to have the same advantage that everybody else is having. Because right now, Kanawha County, 5 of your schools have turf. Other than that, I hope you can help us as much as possible. Like I said, we've been going out trying to get donations. We've been talking to Rotary clubs. They put down $5,000 out of Milton. All right, then there's other ones who put down money. It is very expensive, but we're hoping that you all can help us any way you can to get this project going. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Brumfield.
No, this is not appropriate. Thank you.
No. Anyone else, Dr. Sachs?
No, ma'am.
Thank you to everyone that came to speak. I want to say hi to Coach May. Haven't seen you in years. You've not changed today. It's good to see you. I appreciate the players coming out and everyone coming to speak. Thank you much. Okay. We're going to move on to the 3000 series, 3.01, board member comments. Are there any comments board members would like to make?
No.
President Smalley, Vice President Neely, any comments at this time?
Yes, ma'am. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can, Vice President Smalley.
All righty.
President
I'd
Smalley.
like to just jump back here. The discussion about AP accomplishments. I don't think we give them enough recognition of what they're doing, and it's simply amazing what those teachers accomplished, and furthermore, what their students accomplished. I personally taught one of those teachers, and of course, she was not in the music field, but this is truly amazing. And when you think about it, we're being geared now to other types of curriculum, other types of education. People will do their homework and look at our offerings, our AP offerings, our honors, our dual credit. We're second to none. If you want your child to have all of these offerings, all these opportunities, I urge you to look at what Cabell County has to offer. And again, thank you, teachers and our accomplished students. Thank you.
Hear, hear, very well said by President Smalley. Okay, if that's it, we'll move on to 3.
May I
Yeah,
offer?
yes, Dr.
May I offer
Sachs.
comment? I apologize.
You may.
I did want to comment. Obviously, Mr. Hardesty is speaking with the group of people here who came from Cabell Midland to better understand their request and to work with them to understand what they're asking for. I think it's important to note that we'll see what it is that they're wanting to get accomplished, and then we'll see how it works into our budgeting process to prioritize. I do think that one of the challenges is that when we did our facility planning, our comprehensive facility plan, there was never anything talked about for those athletic fields, either at Huntington High or Cabell Midland. But it doesn't mean that we can't amend it. But I want to talk about there are other projects that we want to make sure we're able to get accomplished. But we'll work with them and see what we can't do. And it's great that they're already thinking ahead and they're trying to find people to help sponsor it. So we'll definitely work with them. The other thing I wanted to mention is there was a question from Mrs. Glover actually, and regarding stipends for uniforms. Our intent is to actually follow suit with what the transportation department does, and that is that we'll bring everybody in and they get to actually select what it is they want, and then we order it for them, so that they'll be able to get 5 days of uniforms, not just maybe 2 or 3, based upon the amount of money they get. So we're going to make sure that what the expectations are, we're going to purchase it for them, so that they're not out any money at all. That's our intent. So I just wanted to be able to clarify that for Mrs. Glover. And that makes it not taxable. That's correct. That's great. That's a good point. That's the important part, because we don't want to have to tax our employees on something that is, and the tax issue. There's several counties across West Virginia that have gotten in trouble with IRS because they weren't taxing their employees on things that were considered like a fringe benefit. A clothing allowance would be considered a fringe benefit because they could go out, they could purchase whatever it is for work, but they could also maybe go to a dinner or a park, or they could use it for personal purposes is the issue. And so that becomes taxable. In this regard, it's logoed, it's purchased by us directly for use in their course of work, and so it takes care of the tax issue there too. So just wanted to be able to clarify that for the board.
No,
That's it.
I had a question. What was the funding source of Huntington High's turf baseball field? Do we
It
know
is
that?
my understanding that Huntington High's was all by donation.
Okay.
So it's my understanding that the school district did not provide any funding for the Huntington High court, the Huntington High field. However, I do want to, it does also present some other challenges, and that is that you do have Title IX compliance issues, so that whatever you provide for boys, you have to be able to provide for girls too. So that's another challenge that we would have to be able to look at.
Good question. Okay. All right, 3.02, workshop request from our board members.
I think it was just feedback.
On that. I had a request, but I did make it prior meeting, was to have further explanation on the matrix, ideally dealing with 6 and 9, because those are the part of that matrix that it has more of swing to it. I'd like to have clear instruction on how those are determined when we go to hire an employee, not only for my clarity, but for all our employees' clarity as well. I would appreciate that. Any other comments on board workshops?
No.
Okay, hearing none, let's move to the, is it feedback or?
It's she's not on mute.
Okay. Okay. On to the 4,000 series. Are there any items within this series that any board members would like to discuss?
Yeah, I'll discuss the 4.05 approval of the contract for curriculum associates. For already, I was able to meet with Dr. Sachs and some of his leadership team to just get an overview of the data that we have as a county as to how effective the program already is and what good it accomplishes for our county. And I was glad to hear that it is well documented, that it is doing a good thing, even as frustrating as it might be for kids and parents alike. And so I just want to encourage parents, if you have questions or concerns about iReady, please reach out to me or one of the other board members or to your principal and ask questions. Try to understand how things are supposed to work. If you feel like it's not working well for your child, let somebody know so that we can, see if it's being used appropriately by your child, or if there's, something else that we need to do to make that even more effective for each child in our county. Because I think it's important that it's something that is good for all of our kids across the board. And if it's not working for you, please let us know.
Excellent. Okay, if there's nothing anyone else to discuss, do I have a motion to accept the 4,000 series?
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Caldwell,
Second.
seconded by Mr. Pauly. All those in favor say aye.
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 Did we get an aye from Vice President Neely? I'm sorry.
Aye.
Aye.
Oh, thank you. None opposed, so the motion passes. Moving on to the 5,000 series. Are there any items in here that any board members would like to discuss?
Madam Chair.
Yes, Dr. Sachs?
I just wanted to bring to your attention that item 5.03, which was the potential, it was a hearing for an employee, discipline service employee. I'll be removing that from board action. So
Okay.
I will not be asking for discipline of that employee.
So 5.03 will be removed.
That'll be removed
Correct.
from the.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. Well, I have a motion. Let me find our page so we're all in the same place.
think you're looking for page 9.
Thank you, I am. I make a motion that the board go into executive session to discuss under the 5000 series 5013 on page 9, dealing with the job postings P-5104, 5105, and 5106.
Second.
Moved by Mrs. Bond, seconded by Mr. Pauly. All those in favor say aye.
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 We got 2. All right, we are in executive session.
Let her know that now. There we go. Mrs. Neely and Mrs. Smalley, we will call you individually when we get into executive session. So give us about 60 seconds and we'll call you.
Okay, thank you. Hello?
Mr. Flowers? Do we have President Smalley and Vice President Neely on Teams?
I believe we have Mrs. Smalley. Miss Smalley, can you hear us?
I can.
Okay, good. Now I need to call Mrs. Neely back. Just one moment.
Okay. Do I need to wait for her to come back into regular session? Is that something?
No, I would wait for, you might want to wait for her before you vote.
Okay.
But you can definitely come into session,
Good.
back into session.
Okay. All right.
It doesn't matter.
I hate to not give her, we'll just wait.
Calling her now.
Thank you, Mr. Flowers. It'd be better to have everybody, I think.
Hello?
Hello, Miss Neely.
Yes.
Just putting you back in the main room.
There she is.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. We're on.
Okay, could I get a motion to return to regular session, please?
I make a motion that we return to regular session.
Okay, moved by Vice
Second.
President Neely, seconded by President Smalley. All those in favor say aye.
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 We're back in regular session. Okay.
Madam Chair and board members, I just wanted to remind you that I'm asking for approval of the personnel section, section 5, with the amendment of taking off 5.03.
Okay,
So
members,
moved.
you've heard the recommendation. Do we have a motion?
I have make a motion to approve the Series 5.
Motion made by Mr. Pauly,
Second.
second by Mr. Caldwell. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any
Aye.
opposed? Hearing none, the 5,000 series passes.
Madam Chair and board members, I want to congratulate the following individuals, and I know there are some here, so if you don't mind stand to be recognized. I want to congratulate Mr. Dan Gleason. He is now the Director of Transportation. We also want to recognize Sarah Bearclaw, who's not here, but she will be the new Assistant Principal at Milton Elementary. And then we also have Camilla McCourt, who is now the Assistant Principal between Village of Barbersville and Central City. So congratulations. We also want to recognize Miss Courtney Cook, who is now one of our new elementary academic specialists. Congratulations. I am really excited about these next two. Miss Allison Adkins, our new central office, new teacher specialist. How exciting is that? It's a very, a new position that we're really excited about. And Mr. Matthew Hicks, exciting stuff. New teacher specialist for special education. So they're going to be working with all of our new teachers, making sure that they have the support and the resources necessary to be successful. So thank you all, and congratulations to all of our new folks.
Yeah, congratulations, everyone. Congratulations. I'm glad to hear. I loved seeing those new positions on there to make new teachers feel welcome. Excellent, excellent job. Okay, moving on to the 6,000 series. Miss Hornbuckle or Mrs. Myers, do we have any legal updates?
Yes, we do, Madam Chair.
Can I have a motion for executive session, please?
So moved.
Mary moved.
Moved by Vice President Neely,
Second.
seconded by Mr. Pauly. All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Mrs.
We're in-
Neely, can you hear me?
Yes.
If you could hang up from this call, I will call you again, or you call me on my cell phone.
I'll call you on your cell phone.
Perfect. Thank you.
We're in executive session. motion to return to regular session, please?
I make a motion, we return to regular session.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Caldwell, seconded by, I think that was Ms. Neely.
Yes.
Okay, pardon, seconded by Mrs. Smalley. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. We are back in regular session. Well, if all hearts are free, I'll entertain a motion to dismiss.
Motion to dismiss?
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Pauly, seconded by Mr. Caldwell. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay.
Aye.
All opposed, say no. Hearing none, we are adjourned.